Welcome students, this is our lecture 2. In previous lecture we saw introduction to the syllabus of general relativity and some basic definition notations from the Riemannian geometry. In this lecture we were going to see the concept of relativity, how it comes, and first it is introduced by Newton in Newtonian mechanics. Could be called a theory of absolute space and time. He defined the space, that is, space is a physical quantity where the motion happens, and Newton assumed the space to be absolute. It is immovable in nature and remains always similar. He defines time. Time is a physical entity used to account the duration of an action. He says that the time is same for all, that is, for all observer, the time is same, and it is mathematical time which flows equally without relation to anything external. The foundation of mechanics is by 3 laws of motion that we discuss here, which can be stated as: the first law states that a body continues in its state of rest or of uniform motion unless it is acted upon by external forces. That is, if we have any body, we say that it is at a rest, or it continues its position at a rest, or it is in uniform motion, then it continues its uniform motion up to when we apply the external force. For example, we see the moving bicycle which is moving continuously in a straight line. Now if we apply the brake, then only it gets stopped. Otherwise we have to continuously applying the pedal to move it continuously. Okay, or we can say that if we take the example of a fan, it is at a rest. Okay, fan is at rest unless we switch on the button. So if we apply by switching on button, we apply the force so that the fan which is at rest previously bring to the motion. Okay, so anything which is at a rest, it is at a rest. When we apply the external force, then it goes to motion. Or if it is in a uniform motion, it continues its uniform motion up to when we apply the external force. Okay, so this is the first law of motion. Then the Newton defined the second law: the rate of change of momentum is proportional to the impressed force and takes place in the direction of force itself. So what is the momentum here? Momentum is mass into velocity. So what is the rate of change of momentum is mass is constant, so it is dv by dt, and therefore dv by dt is acceleration, that is the rate of change of velocity is acceleration, and so we have m into a, that is equals to the force. So we say that the rate of change of momentum is directly proportional to force, and its direction is along the direction in which we apply the force. So this is our second law of motion. And the third law defined: to every action there is equal and opposite reaction. For example, if we switch on the button, then as we switch on, that is, we are giving the action, and what is the reaction is that the fan is on. Okay, so every action there is an equal opposite reaction. This is the third law of motion. Depending on these laws of motion, he defines the motion, that the motion is a relative concept. Before going in detail, look at the picture. The person is sitting in the moving vehicle, bus or train. According to him, the houses, trees are in motion. They are going back with a speed as the speed of the vehicle. And the person which is outside the bus, that is standing on the ground, for him all trees and houses are at rest. They are not moving. Okay, so the one has to consider motion of body with respect to another, that is motion of one body we consider with respect to another, that is motion is relative and its precise meaning when it is referred to some reference body or system, and one has to consider the motion of one body with respect to another. In short, we need a reference system with respect to which a motion of a body can be defined. That is, we require a reference system from which frame of reference we are observing the body is in motion. Okay, so we need to define the definition of a reference system, or we called it as an inertial system. So the reference system is that where the Newton's first law of motion is valid, then that system is called as an inertial system. So remember this, inertial system is the reference system where the Newton's first law of motion is valid. In such a reference frame, a body not under the influence of any force moves in a straight line with a constant speed. So in this reference system, body is not acted upon by any forces, which is moving in a straight line and has a constant speed. Okay. Now we define what is called as an event. An event is anything that is happening. So we geometrically says that it is a point, that is we define the particle and we define its position vector with respect to the coordinate system. So event means where it is happening and it takes up no room and has no duration. We define now we look towards the Galilean transformation, that is we change the coordinate systems. So we define, now see here the Galilean transformation. We let the reference frame as a first frame as a S frame, in that our coordinate system is x, y and z, with the observer is at a position O, and initially this reference at time t equals to 0, S and the reference frame S dash coincide, that is O and O dash are at the same position at time t equals to 0 and t dash is equals to 0. But after some later time t, this reference system S dash is moving along the direction or along the axis x dash, that is x and x dash coincide, and the axis OZ and O dash Z dash are parallel, OY and O dash Y dash are parallel, and this reference system S dash is moving with a uniform velocity v bar, that is with a velocity v. Now we take the point or particle in a space. So the coordinates of a point P in the reference system S is x, y, z, t, and in the reference frame S dash it is x dash, y dash, z dash, t dash. So this is a coordinate at a point at a time t, and these are the coordinate in S dash at a time t dash. So as we say, the time is, Newton defined the time which is absolute, that is it is not depend on any external forces, or it is same for all. So the time t and t dash are equal, and the Galilean transformation are the relation between x, y, z, t, that is the coordinate in the point S and the coordinate of a point P in S dash. The relation between that gives the Galilean transformation. So remember here the position vector of a P in the reference frame S, we take as r bar, and in the frame of reference S dash we take it as r bar dash. So the prime quantity, that is with the dashes here, are in the reference frame S dash, and without the dash they are the quantities in S. Okay, so we take the relation. So as here it takes the triangle law, so we define the triangle law of vector addition. So thus by the triangle law of addition of vectors, r bar dash is equals to r bar minus oo dash, that is equals to r bar, and the oo dash, this distance is nothing but v bar into t, because our distance is nothing but we know that the speed is nothing but the distance upon time, or velocity is nothing but distance upon time. So distance is equals to velocity into time, so it is v bar into t. And we know that time is independent, so we take the second equation as t dash equals to t, and o dash is moves along the common xx dash axis, then the coordinate of vector v bar, since it is in the x dash axis, so y coordinate and z coordinate is 0, and we take the x coordinate as v. So substituting this value in equation 1, we have the position vector of r bar dash is x dash y dash z dash, and the position vector of r bar is x y z, and v bar has a coordinate v comma 0 comma 0 multiplying by t here. So on opening the bracket and comparing, we get x dash equals to x minus vt, y dash equals to y, and z dash equals to z. So this is along the, if we take the common x dash axis, we can transform the coordinate in y dash axis also, z dash axis also. Okay, but here we are taking in the with the common x dash axis. So these are our Galilean transformation. Now using this Galilean transformation, if we differentiate the r bar, that is this equation r bar dash, that is equals to r bar minus vt twice with respect to the time t dash, then the derivative of r bar dash is dr bar dash by dt dash, the derivative of r bar is dr bar by dt, and vector v bar has v bar, because with respect to we are taking time t, and since t dash is equals to t, therefore we write t dash is equals to t. Okay, here t dash is not present, only t is writing because of this. Now again differentiating this, we get the second derivative d2 r bar dash by dt dash square equals to d square r bar dash by dt square. So this is the double derivative of the position vector, and therefore it represents an acceleration. So this is represent acceleration in the frame of reference s dash, and this represent acceleration in the frame of reference a bar, that is in the frame of reference s. So we denote the acceleration a bar here. In Newtonian mechanics, the mass m being measure the inertia, and hence it is supposed to be constant and does not depend on the motion of particle. Okay, that is mass is the quantity only. It is not a weight. There is a difference between mass and weight. So mass is same everywhere, but the weight is different. That you see that the weight on the earth, and there is a difference between the weight on earth and the weight on the moon, right? So something there is a difference, that if we have the weight here 15 kg, then on the moon we have slightly less than that. Okay, so mass is same everywhere, but weight is different. So we take the mass m dash equals to m, then this implies if we multiply this a bar dash equals to a bar by the mass quantities, so m dash into a bar dash equals to m into a bar, and this mass into acceleration is nothing but our force. So force in the reference system s dash is equals to the force in the reference system s. Hence the equation of motion of a particle are exactly same in s and s dash. That is, the equation have the same form in all inertial frame. So we say that here the equation or the laws of physics is same in all inertial frame. This means that the Newton's fundamental equation are invariant under the Galilean transformation. Invariant means they are not changing as we transform the coordinate, but the Newton's law is not changed. So we say that it is invariant in Galilean transformation. But this is not the case in the Maxwell electromagnetic theory. The equation of electromagnetic theory have the solution, which is a wave equation, which is not invariant in the Galilean transformation, that is del square f minus 1 upon c square del square f by del t square is not equal to del dash square f minus 1 upon c square del square f upon del t dash square. So these two equations are not same. So why it is happens that this is not the same? That is a laws of motion, that is all the physics law are same in inertial frame, but the electromagnetic theory is not invariant under the Galilean transformation. So what happens? So here there is a postulates or Einstein's special relativity theory comes. So from this, the laws of physics should not change from frame to frame. That is, if we take any frame of reference, then as the frame of reference change, the laws of physics change. This is not the case. Okay, means this is not happening. This is not true in real. So this law, that the statement that the laws of physics should not change from frame to frame, this forms the fundamental principle of physics and is termed as the principle of relativity. So what the principle of relativity is? The laws of physics should not change from frame to frame. Okay, this is a principle of relativity. It must be applicable to all physical law, but it is observed that Maxwell equation of electromagnetic theory do not remain invariant under Galilean transformation. So under this Galilean transformation, these are not remain invariant. So this gives rise to the following alternative. That is, there are three cases here. The first one says that the principle of relativity applies to mechanics. That is, all physics law are same in every frame of reference. So this is applied to only mechanics and not to electromagnetic theory. This was the first case. Thus, principle of relativity become restrictive and is not a universal in physics. So what it says, the principle of relativity is restrictive, and it is not universal for physics. That is, for all laws of physics, it is not universal. So this is the first case. The second case, the principle of relativity applies to Newtonian mechanics and Maxwell electromagnetic theory, but the electromagnetic theory of Maxwell needs modification. Means principle of relativity applied to both Newtonian and Maxwell, but Maxwell needs some modification. And the third alternative is that the principle of relativity is applicable to Newtonian mechanics and Maxwell electromagnetic theory, but the Newton mechanics needs revision. So it is applicable to Newtonian and Maxwell both, but Newtonian needs some revision. That is, needs some modification. So from this that the Galilean transformations are satisfied by Newton but not by Maxwell. So there are three alternative come that principle of relativity, that is, the laws of physics not change from frame to frame, is the principle of relativity which applied to Newtonian but not to magnetic. This is the first case. The second is applied to both, but electromagnetic theory needs some revision. And the third one is that principle of relativity is applicable to Newton and electromagnetic theory both, but Newton needs some modification. So Einstein accepted the third or the last alternative and defined the special relative theory in 1905. So Einstein's special theory of relativity deals with the inner comparison of measurement made by observer who are in non-accelerated relative motion. That is, Einstein's special theory deals with the comparison of measurements by the observer, and the observer are in the non-accelerated relative motion. Non-accelerated means observer is at a rest or in a uniform motion. That is, they are observing at a rest, or they are observing from the reference body which is continuing its motion uniformly. Okay, so the region of space-time and the region where it is discussing the special theory of relativity is devoid of gravitation. That is, gravity is not present or it is neglected in a region. So in special relativity this is very important, that the special theory of relativity is not under the influence of gravitation. And special theory of relativity is based on two postulates. The first one is Einstein principle of relativity, that the first one says that the laws of physics are same in all inertial frame, and the second one, the constancy of speed of light. So we see firstly the Einstein principle of relativity. According to this postulate, all laws of physics are same in all inertial frames. It means that the laws of physics must remain invariant with respect to the transformation of coordinates. That is, as the coordinates transform, the laws of physics must remain invariant, and time from one inertial frame to another. That is, inertial frame if inertial frame changes, the laws of physics are not changed. And Tolman expressed Einstein principle of relativity in the following words, that it is impossible to measure or detect the unaccelerated translatory motion of a system through free space or through any ether-like medium which might be assumed to pervade it. That is, we have to measure unaccelerated motion from the free space. Free space means space containing not electromagnetic or gravitation field. So it is impossible, or through any ether-like medium. This unaccelerated motion, to measure the unaccelerated motion, it is impossible from the free space or from the ether-like medium. Ether-like medium of a relative velocity of two systems, and it's meaningless to talk of the absolute velocity of a single system. That is, relative velocity means that velocity of an object with respect to another object which is not at rest. That is, we have to consider the velocity of object with respect to another object which is not at a rest, and the absolute velocity, that velocity of body with respect to an object at a rest. So to talk both at the same time is not a good. So through free space, so we must be independent of the velocity of particular system of coordinates. Okay, this is Einstein's principle of relativity. Now the second postulate, that the principle of constancy of a light speed. In this, it says that the speed of light in a free space is same for all inertial observer and does not depend on the relative velocity of source of light and the observer. That is, if the observer is moving and it has the source in his hand and it is moving, then the speed of the light is equals to not the speed of the observer, but the speed of light is the speed of light, means it is a constant for any observer. Okay, that is, if we observing, any other observer is observing, then it is constant in that for all the observer. So this principle is natural outcome of opposing idea that the space is everywhere filled with the fixed ether. That is, it apply the idea to that space is filled with fixed ether, and this postulate has an experiment evidence, such as the light receiving from binary star. The binary stars means they are rotating to one another with a center of mass. This principle results in a space-time mutually related, forming a single space-time. That is, we denote the space, that is the space coordinate, by x, y, z and the time coordinate t. So they form a single space-time, that is x, y, z, t, and we denote the speed of light by c, which is constant in all inertial frame. So we conclude this slide here, and in next slide here we see the Einstein's special theory of relativity. In the next lecture we see the general theory of relativity. So we end here. So